Good morning, YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. By the time you're seeing this video, hopefully you guys are having a good start to your day. Well, so after I did that tropical update video last night, I did some looking around, just trying to get an idea of what could be ahead for the upcoming pattern. Quite a few changes ahead, but I also will update some things on the tropics here because I'm seeing an alarming signal, and I'm gonna go into that in a little bit. Part of the reason why I didn't go into the operational models is because I'm not really trying to make a 1 hour video. Just talking for 20 minutes can be tough enough just for me alone, and it's not an easy video for people to watch either. So being understanding of that, I sometimes will leave some stuff out of videos just to try to keep things from being too repetitive, A, B being too long, and then really the best way to approach these kinds of videos is taking them one at a time. Because if I mess around, like I said, I can easily end up making an hour-long video that ends up being super duper sloppy sometimes. That being said, let's go ahead and get into things here. Start out with the severe weather stuff from the Storm Prediction Center. As of right now, nothing really going on, of course. It's not till later into the week where we're kind of looking for some area of concern, but even then the predictability is too low right now. Then towards days 6 through 8, nothing really going there, so not much to worry about in that area. But what I do want to talk about, and when I usually pull this map up, something's going on here, something's brewing, and indeed it is. Here's a storm system that's caused that trough ejection, caused that tornado outbreak in the southern plains here, caused a little bit of severe weather today, even around the around Indiana, not Indiana, but Indiana and Illinois, mainly Illinois. Even had a tornado report earlier. Excuse me. And this storm system is ejecting north of the border now. We have some potential snow that's going on here in what looks to be Montana and North Dakota, and that's what we're looking at, and that's just what we're looking at right now. But when I move this forward here, later this week, I want you to pay attention towards the western half of the U.S., mainly towards the central part of the western U.S., as this big storm system comes in. And I've been talking about this one for a little bit, looking to bring some pretty moderate heavy snow to the Sierra Nevada regions. And this also will probably be what gives way to our next storm system, maybe having a little severe weather with it as well. But also I want to go back a little bit before I talk about this a little bit more. I want you to now avert your attention to the right side of the screen here, because I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of this model run here. But look at it. But look, I want you to pay attention right down here towards the Bahamas. I've been talking about that storm system for a while. The Euro has this forming now. If I can get the Euro to run here. There we go. Pivotal weather doing its thing again. But here we go. I want you to pay attention towards this corner right here. And you can see our big storms. You can see what looks to be the makings of a potential hurricane, and look exactly where it's going. And what's interesting is, in my tropical update video, and I'll have the link in the description. I'll have the not the link in the description, but there will be a ad to click the video in the top right. You can clearly see the storm system going on the exact same path, and this is a brand new model run here too that I'm looking at, and this goes towards southwestern southern Florida here. So Orlando, Miami, you might need to be on the lookout here, because we're 105 hours out according to the Euro here. So that is definitely something that's worth watching really close now. And this looks like it becomes a pretty considerable storm from the looks of it too. Oh man, Pivotal's doing its thing, but it looks like we're getting it to work now. And also, here's what I want you to note, because it comes in right around the same time as this storm system here. Here's where things get interesting, especially as this tracks further and further to the east here. So here comes our tropical system going through Florida. Here's our big upper level low here that's in the central part of the country. And I want you to watch what happens. Look what the Euro and the look what the Euro has going on with these two storm systems. Get some snow towards the Great Lakes, and then here's what's left of our system working its way to the northeast here. Now on the tail end of that, it looks like we get enough ramp. We get a little bit of leftover energy here, and this could become a really big coastal storm that brings in some flooding rain for some people. And then there is a chance for a cold blast to come in right behind it. And maybe, just maybe, there could be some snow with it too. I doubt it. There's a slim chance that this becomes a nor'easter. I'm honestly not sold on it, but either way, northeast, watch out. This is going to definitely affect your weather. And then, of course, towards the middle of the month, I've been talking about a little brief Arctic blast possibly coming in towards the eastern half of the country. And then, of course, this will quickly move out, and then we'll have to look towards the middle of the month once more for yet another blast to be coming in. Here's another potential system here that could cause a little bit of severe weather. This is a warm chord system from the looks of it as well. And this tries to work its way to the south and east. This is the end of the model run here. We'll continue it on with the GFS. But the thing about this this setup is the GFS, of course, always likes to make the more aggressive runs, but this is also showing pretty much the exact same thing actually, and that's one thing that has me very confident about this storm system, because we'll look over here again, we'll try to avert our eyes to two different spots at the same time, but I'm trying to make sure we're loaded here. And here we go. Let's go ahead and look. Uh-oh. Oh no, it hasn't loaded yet. There we go. Oh no, here we go. Wait, here it is. Okay. Computer loves playing games with me. But yeah, here's our big storm system right here, and here's our tropical entity here. I don't know whether this will be named Nicole next or not. We'll have to watch. I'll talk more about that probably on Monday's video. But you can clearly see big trough is dug out from this upper level low here. Here's our tropical entity. We get our impact towards the Bahamas and then eventually Florida. Of course, the GFS has this as a much stronger storm than the Euro. And then here's our big storm system coming through. This looks like it's a tad bit on the warmer side for this upper level low that's going through the center of the country. Doesn't draw in quite as much cold air. It looks a little bit more progressive as well. But it does look like on the backside you could get some snow out of this towards Nebraska and Kansas, maybe even South Dakota as well. But look what happens with this. This stronger storm also may mean that could get some snow on the backside of these two systems, because it looks like they're trying to phase a little bit, but it's kind of hard to get behind that. There's still a lot of uncertainty as far as the track of these two and the timing, but it is definitely something that piques my interest, definitely garners my attention, so to speak. But also I've noticed this one other feature that comes in with the GFS more so than the Euro is this little piece of energy right here. I find it interesting that this piece of energy has already got that little bit of a neutral look here. And this may be highlighting a change in the jet stream entirely. So we'll watch this move along, and this tries to, and then there's another little piece of energy that seems to try to form behind it. This is one thing we haven't seen, I didn't really see on the Euro. So I'll move this along here. This digs a little bit further south here. may cause a severe weather event, possibly towards the Tennessee and Ohio valleys here. And here's the GFS starting to freeze. Oh no, we're back. And then right after that, it looks like there's yet another system that comes in. Actually, it looks like maybe even two little pieces of energy that comes in right here. But this is where we start to also get into no man's land. But look what happens here. If I can get, oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. I thought it was if I could get the computer to work. It's more like, can I get my brain to work? So here we are, we're starting to move. And then look at what happens here once we get to about 294 hours out. That's a really interesting run here. And look at the and when I look at these lines here with these little numbers on them, we always look for that 540 line because that's representative of our 32-degree line. This is a cold core style storm because we're looking at 543, 546. So we are kind of flirting with that freezing number, so to speak, or 0 degrees Celsius, depending on which part of the world you're watching from. So I've seen a few of you watching from other countries. But we can clearly see now, look at that. There's a 540 ring that's developed here. It's definitely a really cold storm coming in. And interestingly enough, we move this along and it looks like this does seem to have that look of a southeastern type of storm. Do I think this turns into a big snowstorm? Highly unlikely for this time of year, for one. And then secondly, look how far out we are. We're about 300 plus hours out. Can't really credit this, but this is definitely something that warrants watching. We're mainly when I show you guys this, I try to mark this not only for myself, but maybe even for you guys to kind of watch this for me and mark this as a trend, as the beginning of a potential trend. Because that's what we look for when we're going 200 plus hours out. We're looking for trends because this forecast can easily change. Now, if this holds for about 3 days, then it's got a lot more credibility to it. And that's the key to all this, is looking for trends more so than particular runs. That's how you kind of do the long range forecast here. But it doesn't look like I'm probably going to make it to the rest of this model run here. Let's just be honest, because this computer's going absolutely haywire here. This computer's about at the end of its road. But this also looks like it tries to give that look of a potential coastal storm as well. Should this run hold true, I'm honestly not sold on it at all, but like I said, we're trying to mark this as a potential start of a trend, but we'll see what happens here. So that being said, we're gonna try to close out of this, if at all possible, and move on to the next thing, on to what the radar could look like from the Euro here. Really struggling with the computer today. Downside to all this also is the fact that the Euro hasn't really loaded on tropical tidbits here. It seems like it's a little bit easier on my computer. Here's a tropical low. Here's our big storm system here. Definitely got a wintry side to it. And then, of course, big coastal storm. Doesn't really have much wraparound snow according to the Euro. Severe weather towards the middle of the month. And that's really all we got with this. Let's see if we can have some success with the GFS here. I'm taking a gamble. I'm going to try it. We just kind of need to run this on a loop, I think, maybe. And we might have a shot. So here we are loading GFS, and let's see what happens here. I do expect a few differences here, of course, given the vorticity map here. Not really much more I can look into as of right now with this system. Not just because of how things are working with my computer, but because of the simple fact that this model that really I don't want to make an hour long video. There's a little bit more ice with this system too, which is interesting. It's a warmer quartz system with this as well though. Here's some wraparound snow coming on that one after the tropical system moves in, trying to phase with that. And here's where things kind of get interesting. This is where the GFS and the Euro have had their discrepancies, is towards the middle of the month here. And then these two little coastal storms that come in. Like it looks like we can anticipate a few big Arctic blasts coming in after the middle of the month, and I've been saying that for a little bit. That's not a surprise here. So here's our next tropical cyclone again, and here's our big winter weather system here. These two look like they try to phase. They do look like they interact in some way, shape, or form. And we get some backside snow, mainly towards the Great Lakes here. It looks like the lake effect machine takes effect there. And that's what's really interesting, is right there, that little piece of energy there that doesn't really get picked up on till later. Then once we get to 300 hours out, that's when we get that storm system that tries to ride up the coast here. So it's a lot of craziness going on here. The best thing I can say is buckle up, because it looks like the second half of November could get pretty crazy. I mean, I do see a lot of discrepancies in the models, but I do see some agreement as well. In particular, I'm definitely watching this tropical system that's over here in Florida. So that being said, definitely over towards Orlando, Miami, anywhere towards the west coast of Florida, watch out. Now might be the time to start preparing, because it does look like a tropical system is starting to look a little bit more imminent. I definitely have an increased amount of confidence in that. I do have also an increased confidence in a potential winter storm here over towards the central part of the U.S., especially the Central Plains. So Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. I'm watching you guys real close as well. But that's it for this video. If there's anything that I did here that you like, definitely drop me a like. Also, let me know in the comments as well what your thoughts are on these potential weather events that are upcoming. And in particular, how strong do you think the tropical system will get? How much snow do you think we're gonna get in this region right here? As we get a little bit closer to the event, I'm gonna start to hone in more on the totals and so on and so forth, and we'll just kind of go from there. Also, again, I've said in the last few videos, I'm gonna keep saying it. Noticed over 70% of you watching are not subscribed, which is crazy. Like, what are you waiting for? If you like watching my videos, never miss one, and you never want to miss one again, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button and click that bell. You'll get notified every time I drop a video. It's that easy, and it doesn't cost you anything. But enough rambling about that. This has been Tyler Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys in the next one.